America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, a place where dreams were once made, where the impossible became possible. We were once a beacon of hope, a symbol of progress and innovation. Now, we're a punchline, a cautionary tale of what happens when unity is lost. We're more divided than ever, split down the middle by anger, fear and mistrust. The chasm between us grows wider each day. On one side we have MAGA, clinging to a romanticized past that never existed. They hold on to an idealized vision of America. They yearn for a simpler time, a time when America was great, or so they believe, a time painted in sepia tones and nostalgia. But their vision of greatness is built on exclusion, on turning back the clock on progress. They forget the struggles and sacrifices that brought us forward. On the other side, we have the left, tangled in a web of cancel culture. They fight for justice, but sometimes lose sight of compassion. They're quick to condemn, slow to forgive. Social media amplifies their outrage, creating echo chambers of discontent. Their hearts might be in the right place, but their methods often miss the mark. They aim for change, but sometimes alienate those they wish to convert. And then there's Christian nationalism, a dangerous ideology masquerading as patriotism. It seeks to blend faith with governance. They claim America was founded as a Christian nation, but history tells a different story. Our founding fathers envisioned a separation of church and state. They seek to impose their beliefs on everyone, to turn America into a theocracy. This threatens the very fabric of our democracy. America, we're better than this. We are a nation of diverse voices and shared dreams. We need to snap out of it. It's time to wake up and realize our potential. We need to stop listening to the voices of division and start listening to the voice of reason. We must engage in constructive dialogue. We need a technocratic revolution, a future built on facts, not feelings. A future where science and reason guide our path forward. Let's talk about MAGA. They love to talk about making America great again, but they never seem to specify when America was so great. Was it during slavery? Jim Crow? Because those were pretty dark times for a lot of Americans. The truth is their vision of America never existed. It's a fantasy land, a nostalgic mirage. They yearn for a time when white men ruled supreme, when women knew their place, and when minorities were invisible. Let's not forget their obsession with Christian nationalism. They claim America was founded as a Christian nation, but that's simply not true. The founding fathers were very clear about separating church and state. They knew that a nation ruled by religious dogma is a nation destined for tyranny. MAGA, it's time to face reality. Your nostalgia is misplaced and your vision of America is a dangerous delusion. It's time to embrace the future, a future built on equality, progress, and reason. Now let's talk about the left. They're not off the hook either. They claim to be the party of tolerance and inclusivity, but they can be just as intolerant and exclusive as their counterparts on the right. Cancel culture has become their weapon of choice, a way to silence dissent and enforce ideological conformity. They're quick to cancel anyone who dares to deviate from their narrow worldview, even if it's just a difference of opinion. Yes, there are real issues of social justice that need to be addressed. But shouting down opposing viewpoints and shutting down debate is not the way to do it. We need to have open and honest conversations, even if they're uncomfortable. The left needs to ditch the cancel culture and embrace data-driven solutions. Instead of relying on emotional appeals and virtue signaling, they need to focus on evidence-based policies that actually work. And then there's Christian nationalism. The elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. They're like that weird uncle at Thanksgiving dinner who keeps bringing up politics and religion even though everyone else is just trying to enjoy their turkey. They claim America was founded on Christian principles, but they conveniently ignore the fact that the founding fathers were deeply skeptical of organized religion. They understood the dangers of mixing religion and politics. They knew that a theocracy is the antithesis of a free and democratic society. Christian nationalists want to turn back the clock on progress. They want to ban abortion, restrict LGBTQ+ rights, and impose their narrow moral code on everyone. They're a threat to our freedoms, our values, and our very way of life. America, we need to wake up and smell the incense burning. Christian nationalism is not patriotism, it's theocracy in disguise. And it has no place in a pluralistic and democratic society. The technocratic promise, a future built on facts. So where do we go from here? How do we fix this mess? Well, I'm not a politician. I'm you. I'm your father, mother, brother, sister, your friend. I am your fellow American, but I do know one thing. We need to start listening to the nerds. We need a technocratic revolution, a future where decisions are based on facts, not feelings. A future where data, logic, and evidence are our guiding principles. Imagine a world where we tackle climate change with science, not soundbites, where we address racial injustice with data-driven policies, not empty platitudes, where we solve problems, not score political points. That's the promise of technocracy. It's not about left or right, it's about right and wrong. It's about what works. It's about building a better future for all Americans, not just a select few. The New Deal, a testament to technocratic success. Don't believe me? Think technocracy is just a pipe dream? Well, let's take a trip down memory lane, back to the Great Depression. America was in shambles, the economy was in the toilet, and people were losing hope. Then came Franklin Delano Roosevelt and his New Deal. It wasn't perfect, but it was a bold experiment in technocratic governance. Roosevelt surrounded himself with experts, economists, and social scientists. They analyzed data, they crunched numbers, and they came up with innovative solutions to get America back on its feet. The New Deal wasn't about ideology, it was about pragmatism. It was about using the power of government to solve real problems and improve people's lives. And it worked. The New Deal helped lift America out of the Great Depression and laid the foundation for decades of economic prosperity. Post-war Reconstruction, another technocratic triumph. And let's not forget about the post-World War II reconstruction. America faced the daunting task of rebuilding a shattered world, both at home and abroad. And once again, we turn to technocrats for help. The Marshall Plan, the brainchild of General George Marshall, was a masterpiece of technocratic planning. It was a massive aid program designed to rebuild war-torn Europe and prevent the spread of communism, and it was a resounding success. The Marshall Plan helped rebuild Europe's economy, strengthen democratic institutions, and created a lasting peace. It was a shining example of what can be accomplished when we put aside ideology and embrace a pragmatic, evidence-based approach to problem-solving. Data-driven solutions for a better tomorrow. So, what can we learn from these historical examples? Simple technocracy works. When we put aside our biases, our prejudices, and our ideological blinders and instead focus on facts, evidence, and data, we can accomplish amazing things. We can tackle climate change by investing in renewable energy, promoting energy efficiency, and implementing carbon pricing mechanisms. We can address racial injustice by reforming our criminal justice system, investing in education and job training, and promoting affordable housing. We can solve our most pressing problems, but only if we're willing to embrace a technocratic approach. It's time to let go of the outdated ideologies of the past and embrace a future built on reason, evidence, and progress. Climate change. The urgency for evidence-based action. Let's be clear. Climate change is real, it's happening now, and it's a threat to our planet and our way of life. The evidence is overwhelming and the consequences are becoming more apparent with each passing day. We can't afford to ignore it any longer, and we can't afford to let ideology stand in the way of solutions. The time for debate is over. The time for action is now. We must come together, regardless of our political or personal beliefs, to tackle this global crisis head-on. We need to listen to the scientists, the experts who have dedicated their lives to studying this issue. Their research and findings provide a roadmap for us to follow. They are the ones who understand the complexities of our climate system and the urgent need for change. They're telling us that we need to reduce our carbon emissions, and we need to do it now. Every ton of carbon dioxide we emit contributes to the problem, and every action we take to reduce emissions makes a difference. The good news is that we have the technology to do it. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind are more accessible and affordable than ever before. Electric vehicles are becoming more common, and energy-efficient technologies are continually improving. We can transition to a clean energy economy, we can reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, and we can create a more sustainable future. This transition will not only help the environment, but also create jobs and stimulate economic growth, but we need to act now. The window of opportunity is closing, and the longer we wait, the harder it will be to reverse the damage. The longer we wait, the more difficult and costly it will be to address this crisis. We are already seeing the devastating effects of climate change, from extreme weather events to rising sea levels and loss of biodiversity. Let's put aside our differences, embrace the science, and work together to create a healthier, more sustainable planet for ourselves and for future generations. Our actions today will determine the world we leave behind. It's time to make a difference. Racial justice, dismantling systemic racism with data and logic. Systemic racism is another critical issue that demands a technocratic approach. For far too long, we've allowed prejudice and discrimination to permeate our institutions and our society. We need to acknowledge the legacy of racism in America, from slavery to Jim Crow to the mass incarceration of black and brown people. We need to understand how systemic racism continues to disadvantage people of color in every aspect of life, from education to employment to housing to healthcare. Data can be a powerful tool in this fight. By collecting and analyzing data on racial disparities, we can identify the root causes of inequality and develop targeted solutions. We can use data to track progress, hold institutions accountable, and ensure that everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed. Embracing a future of reason and progress. America, we're at a crossroads. We can continue down the path of division, anger, and ideology, or we can choose a different path, a path of reason, progress, and unity. It's time to put aside our differences and come together as Americans. It's time to embrace a future where facts matter, where evidence guides our decisions, and where we solve problems together, not by shouting at each other. Let's be the America we know we can be, an America that is a beacon of hope, progress, and opportunity for all. Let's build a future worthy of our children and grandchildren, a future where reason and progress prevail. A call to action: choose facts over fiction. So what can you do? How can you be a part of this technocratic revolution? It's simple. To our MAGA friends, we understand your desire for a better America, but let's ditch the nostalgia and embrace the facts. The world is changing, and we need to adapt to these changes with open minds and hearts. Let's work together to create an economy that works for everyone, not just the wealthy few. This means supporting policies that promote fair wages, job security, and opportunities for all, regardless of background or status. To the left, your passion for social justice is admirable. Your drive to make the world a better place is inspiring. But let's channel that passion into practical solutions that are grounded in data and evidence. We need to ensure that our efforts are effective and sustainable, making real, lasting change. Let's have open and honest conversations about race, gender, and inequality. These discussions are crucial for understanding and addressing the root causes of these issues. And let's work together to create a more just and equitable society. By joining forces, we can build communities that are inclusive and supportive of all individuals. And to the Christian nationalists, we respect your faith. Your beliefs are an important part of who you are. But America is not a theocracy, and it never should be. Our nation was founded on the principle of separation of church and state, ensuring freedom for all. Let's keep religion out of our government and focus on building a society where everyone is free to practice their beliefs without fear of persecution. This is essential for maintaining a diverse and harmonious society. America, it's time to choose facts over fiction, reason over ideology, policy over politics, and progress over stagnation. We must prioritize truth and evidence in our decision-making processes. Let's build a better future together. By working collaboratively, we can create a world that is more sustainable, equitable, and prosperous for all. Now, if this resonates with you, then you're on the first step to a technocratic thought process. We don't want to destroy tradition or values. We want to enhance and protect them. We want the problem at the forefront of the conversation, not the ideology behind it. We want a better life for ourselves and our family, but know there is no gain without compromise and understanding. If you find yourself here on this channel, stay glued, because I will break down the walls and hyperbole and show the root of all issues. We all fundamentally agree, so now let's bridge the last gap. Imagine a nation where every decision is driven by facts, where progress is the common goal, and where unity transcends division. This is the future we can build together. As we stand on the precipice of change, remember our strength lies in our collective wisdom, our shared values, and our unwavering commitment to the truth. Let us embrace a future where data guides our actions, where evidence shapes our policies, and where progress is the cornerstone of our society. Together we can turn the tide. Together we can choose facts over fiction. Join us in this journey. Let's build a better tomorrow, united by reason and driven by truth. Now, as we close this chapter, I encourage you to start to be a part of the change we seek. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and stay committed to a future where reason, facts, and progress prevail. Thank you for being part of this technocratic revolution. Together, we can make a difference.